more than happy to share with you guys tips on how to homeschool and how to make this process and transition a lot smoother than it could be. So yes, we're going to talk about homeschooling. Thank you, Dad. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome. We are just waiting a few more minutes for a few more people to join. And then we'll be giving some tips, answering any questions that some people may have, and also, just sharing as a community regarding this new epidemic of homeschooling worldwide, global homeschooling. So here we go. Welcome, YouTube. Okay, so we've got Instagram here right now. We've got Facebook here right now. We've got YouTube here right now. Welcome everyone who's watching. Welcome. Okay, can I get a time check, please, husband?
It is 9:31.
It's 9:31. Okay, we're going to start. My husband is here. He's helping behind the scenes, but he's also here to answer any questions as well.
Hey guys.
So please feel free to shoot any questions at either myself or my husband. He might come in front of the camera at some point. I'm not sure.
I'll think about it.
We'll see. All right. Do you know what? I'm gonna wait. What's the time now? 9:32. I'm gonna wait for 3 more minutes because I see more people are joining, and I know it will be available. I'll make sure this live is available after this live is posted, after it's published. But I just want to allow some people to join before I start. So yes, I'm going to be looking mainly at this camera because there are a few in front of me. So don't think I'm ignoring you. Whenever there is a question popping up, I will check either way to see who's commenting and what questions I can answer. But okay, so should I wait some more?
Ask what questions do people have, just to start off with.
If you do have any questions, please do feel free to post them now. I'm more than happy to start with any questions. So yeah, please let me know. Could you see if there are any questions on the Facebook, please, husband, when you get a moment? But you know what I'm going to do while we're waiting? I'm actually going to pray. I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, so I will be praying. Hope this doesn't offend anyone, but yes, I will be praying. So let's pray first. Heavenly Father, I thank you for bringing us together today, even through the cyber world, Lord Jesus. I thank you for making such a thing possible, that we're able to communicate with each other even when there is a lack of presence in the room. I thank you that we're able to communicate and share messages and, just share the ideas that we have today through another medium other than just being in front of people. So I'm grateful, and I just pray that this sharing of information is fruitful, valuable, and worthwhile in terms of people watching it and getting what they need from it. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, so let's begin. So for those who've just joined, this is going to be a live all about homeschooling to those who have children who go to the public schools, state schools, or any schools. In fact, you will have experienced the fact that you need to now homeschool. And I know this can be quite daunting for a lot of people because it's not something they've considered before. It's not something they're used to. And the only thing that's really like this time is summer holidays, I guess. And a lot of people are grateful when the summer holidays are over because it means that the children are not eating you out of house and home, etc., etc. But now there's an element of limbo because not everyone's aware of when this is going to end. So I've come to just help in terms of making the transition smoother, and just explaining anything that seems a bit unclear or a bit overwhelming So yeah, I'm going to share things from my point of view. Disclaimer, this is based upon my experience as well as other homeschoolers that I know of. In my family, I am one of quite a few people that homeschool. My children and their cousins are all homeschooled, so it is something that I'm surrounded by, as well as the fact I'm actually a qualified primary school teacher. So I've got the inside experience as well as the outside experience in terms of schools, and lots of resources and access to resources as well. Now, to start off with, I got a voice note this week which was asking about how people can go about structuring their day. And that's one of the major things that get asked when it comes to homeschooling. How do you structure your day? Do you have to start at 9 a.m? Do you have to finish at 3 p.m? How do we do it? So I'm going to break this down. Okay, so with homeschooling, there are actually currently no set in stone rules, apart from the fact you have to let the government know. Now, because of the time and season that we're in, the government are the ones actually dictating this homeschooling. So you don't have to let them know. But in terms of the day structure, it is completely up to you. As homeschoolers, as parents, you are in charge, which is the way it should be, in my opinion anyway, because you are parents. You gave birth to these children. Some people have been given guardianship over children, and they are in your hands. So you dictate how your children learn, when they learn, why they learn, what they learn. So I'm going to give you some examples based upon what I do at home. So with my children, I kind of do try to go with their pace, because I know it's best for children to feel comfortable when it comes to education, especially the younger ones. For those who don't know, I am a mother of 4 children. My oldest is 6 years old, and she's a girl. My second born is 5 years old, and he's a boy. My third is 2 years old, and he's a boy. And my fourth is 7 months old, and he's a boy. So I've got quite a big range in terms of from 0 to 6. Okay, so I cater to those 4 ages. And in the past, I have homeschooled my nephew, who at the time was 14 years old. And I've also partaken in homeschooling my younger sister, who at the time was, how old was she? About 13? 11, 12, 13?
12.
Secondary school age, yeah. So I do have a bit of experience that's a bit widespread. On top of that, my husband's also here, like I said, and he is a qualified secondary school teacher. His subject is maths, and I'm also actually a maths specialist according to my university, who gave me my certificate. So yeah, there's quite a bit of maths expertise on our side, but on top of that, there's also I've got quite a good hand in terms of English and teaching English. My husband and I used to run a tutoring company which tutored children in English and maths. So in terms of structuring the day, I kind of just, like I said, go with how the children are going. So for example, if they've had a late night, which does happen sometimes, and there isn't the stringency in terms of homeschooling, because you don't have to say it's a school night, you need to get to bed. There's not a lot of stress surrounding homeschooling, which I really enjoy, because I hated the school run. I'm not gonna lie, I did try it for about 7 months, and I was like, no, I can't do this. This is not my calling. So if they've had a late night, we might start later than the day before, for example. But I try to make sure they've started their actual schoolwork around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now I'll try and show this to you guys on all 3 cameras, But this is my timetable. So we've got the morning, AM, and as you can see, every single day in the morning, the children are meant to start with devotional and Bible reading, which is what they do independently, actually. I'll show you guys on Facebook. So the children start their morning with devotion and Bible reading, which they do independently. Then we have lunch. And after lunch is when the children tend to start their work. Now, I've incorporated a day of rest because, like I said, I'm a believer in the Bible, and the Bible does say that God made a day of rest for man. So I'm going to take that day of rest gladly. So we have Mondays as our day of rest. So from after they do their devotion and Bible reading, there is no schoolwork. I've made a little note here at the bottom as well that I have to make sure I work with Zech, which is my second
son.
No, not my second son, second youngest. He's my 2-year-old. So this is mainly for Abigail and Elijah, who are my 6-year-old and 5-year-old, the oldest in the house. And this has changed about 2 or 3 times so far. So it's changed according to the needs of my children. But they are very close in age. They're only 14 months apart. And so their needs are not as varying as maybe my oldest and my second son, who's 2. So I kind of get them doing similar things. They both started reading at the age of 2, respectively. So when my daughter was 2, she was reading. When my son was 2, he was reading. But I kind of get them to work at the same pace in terms of books. Husband, could you pass me one of their Kumon books, please, just so I can show people what I'm using? So I use a curriculum that I've kind of made up myself, basically. I run my own curriculum with the children, which is something you guys can do. It's probably much easier to do than using the national curriculum, in my opinion, because it goes with your pace as a parent as well as your children's pace. So I purchased, thank you, Kumon books. So you've probably heard of the Kumon Centres. And Kumon produce books, which I've bought from Amazon. I think they're about £5 each. I started at the lowest level, which was grade 1 for both of my children, just because I never used Kumon before. So I wanted to make sure I knew what to do from the beginning. And you kind of get a grasp of your child's pace by seeing how well they go through the books. Because I wasn't sure of the books again, I just got 1 English, 1 maths. And just said, let's use that as a basis. And depending on how well they work through it, depends on whether you need another book or you need to move them up. But this is designed to be an independent workbook. So your child should know how to do these books by themselves. And if they don't, it means that it's too hard for them. Good evening, Sasha. Hope you're well. So this is... whose is this? This is Abigail's book at the moment, and she does this independently. She wakes up, has her devotion, does her Bible reading, and she sometimes waits for breakfast, sometimes she doesn't. She'll just go straight into this book or another subject. But like I said, this corresponds with the timetable. So for example, on Tuesday after lunch, they have geometry and measurement, which would be this book, Geometry and Measurement. And one of the things that I would say is very key about homeschooling is that you just need to take it very easy, be very relaxed, be very calm. Because there are no rules, there's no one judging you, okay? There's no one judging you. So you can feel free to make mistakes and just make it better the next day, for example. There is no one judging you. Even your children will not be judging you, because it's new to them as well. So please take it easy. Do not be overwhelmed. This is new, but it's not the end of the world. They're your children. God gave them to you. And this is it's just like going back to when they were just born. They're yours, and you have complete full reign of deciding what they must do. So one thing that I do is I do work for them on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that's it really. On Saturday they learn a new scripture in the Bible to memorize, and they do something hands-on, and then on Sunday we have fellowship together. So the real core of work is done on 1, 2, 3, 4 days of the week. Now this might just be 2 hours in each day. It's probably not more than that, especially because children can often get quite tired and bored of doing a particular thing throughout the day. And that's why at school, for example, they have playtime, break time, etc. Now, one of the key things with children is that they have good fuel. So make sure that they are getting good, healthy snacks in between, because it will help with their focus and concentration during the day. Don't be too hard on them, the same way you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. Parents, please. Okay? Take it easy and just relax. Okay? In terms of balancing and managing the day, one thing that I've tried to remember is that when it gets a bit stressful, just stop. Like, don't try to force it. Okay? If it gets too stressful, just say, okay, that's it. We're going to just chill out now. We're not going to do any more work. I've done that several times. So I've just been like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing this, okay? We're not doing this. Time out. And we've had to pause. So in terms of managing, as airy-fairy as it might sound, go with the flow, okay? Until you have got a set-in-stone routine. And mentioning routine, I would say try to get a routine implemented as soon as possible, once you are comfortable with what you're doing, because obviously it's going to be a lot of trial and error at this time, because it's very new to you and your children or child. But once you are able to, I'd say implement a routine, because when you have routines with children, they feel very safe. When they know what's coming next, they feel very comfortable and
they can thrive.
Yeah, they thrive. They don't become panicky. They can work independently, and there's no panic in the atmosphere or stress. So as soon as you can, get a routine in place. This timetable that I have did not come until about 4 years into 4 years into homeschooling. Before that, I had no timetable, because my children were very young, but also I was trying to find out what I'm doing, how to do this life of homeschooling. Hi, Jen. Thank you.
So we've got a question on Facebook.
Okay, we've got a question on Facebook. Let's have
Yasmin, and Yasmin's basically said, Hiya, could you type the author of the book after, please? So I believe it's the Kumon book.
The Kumon book. Okay,
so,
that's fine.
Yeah, we'll provide that.
We'll do that. I'll try and actually put some links to some books in the comment box, so you guys can get straight links to where I've got them from. But yes, as soon as you can, try and get a timetable set up and try and make it visual so that children can see what they're doing next. When I was a primary school teacher, I would have to write out the timetable every day as part of good practice, because it helped children know exactly where we were going next, what we were doing at the moment, and it brings stability. It's very good. It brings stability. Can I just make a request as well? Whilst you guys are on live watching, please do share for other homeschooling mums and dads who may get value from this. Right now. Yeah, so, who's got children? Yeah.
Well, if you ain't got children, you might be giving someone else's children.
That's right true. Now. That's true. Oh, yeah, it's quite peak, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So we've got the timetable. Make it visual. I've made mine quite colourful, just for the fun of it, for the children, not for me. Okay. Okay. Catering for various ages. If you have several ages of children in your home, my advice is to do what you can. Okay, very simple. Do what you can. Maybe dedicate separate times to each child throughout the day. So we've got 24 hours in a day. Take away 8 of those hours. You have got 16 hours. Whew. Math specialist. You've got 16 hours And in those 16 hours, I say the 8 hours I took away were sleep hours, by the way. In those 16 hours, you'll probably use 4 of them for other things. So let's say you've got about 12 hours, half of the day, to sort out homeschooling for your children. I would say maybe give 2 hours to each child if you can, and just work with each child and see what kind of needs they have, how you can actually cater to them in this time. Like I've said from the beginning, please take it easy. Do not stress over this. Do not panic. It's not that deep. Don't let this pandemic be your pandemic, okay? If you watch one of our earlier YouTube videos, I think it's called like a snippet of Simply ICanWin. One of the advice I give in that video is do not make other people's problems your priority. And what I mean by that is not about not problem solving. It's more so to do with not taking on people's pressures as your own, okay? Now, this country's tried to put on lots of pressure right now to make people panic, make people stressful. It's not your concern, okay? Relax, especially because your children are going to feel what you're releasing. So if you're stressed, if you're panicking, they're going to feel it. So please take it easy, relax, act like you know what you're doing because you're their parent and they need to know that you know what they're doing. You know what you're doing, okay?
You should do anyway.
Yes. Yes, so you should do, but even if you don't, act like it until you do, okay?
Right, so we got Sasha.
Got another question.
On Facebook Live, Sasha's asking, other than English and maths, what else do you do? I know you've gone through it already, but Sasha might have just jumped on. So.
Well, I haven't really, so I'll go for it. Thank you, Sasha, for the question. Okay, so currently, this is actually not the one I use right now. I'll put it back up. Okay, so currently, I'll just get my laptop. Currently, I do with the children a bi-weekly program. So that means that every other week they're doing something slightly different. So if I bring up my schedule right now, that will help make things a little clearer. But yes, I try to make their learning quite broad. So prior to this bi-weekly schedule that I had, the children were doing things in and outside of the home. So some of you will know they did horse riding for quite a while, karate, football, gymnastics. There was quite a few things. They were doing quite a lot of physical stuff, and I wanted them to get into that more than the academic side of things, because I wanted to broaden their horizons in terms of letting them know the things that were available to them. So yeah.
Why? I think you should elaborate on that. Why? What, is it because their mum and dad have been very academic and we've seen the value in other things? Why did we want them to do so many other... Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I'll let you share as well. But for me, personally, it was because I wanted to give them ideas and open their minds to things that I've never experienced, that I would think is, valuable. So, for example, horse riding, like, only a few people will say, yeah, I did horse riding when I was 4 and 5, and I didn't want it to be something that they couldn't attain because of whatever reason. I wanted them to have broad horizons based upon the fact that we're giving them insight into different things, as well as the fact I was trying to take advantage of the fact I homeschool. So during the day, Monday, there's no schools that I know of in the area that I live in that take their classes horse riding. And when it's quiet during the day because everyone's in school, you get lots of opportunities to go and explore in parks, in horse riding stables. It just broadens your horizons. And yes, it's stuff that I didn't get as a child when I was in school. So I just thought, why not, But husband, what about you?
For me, there's several reasons.
Are you coming in front of the camera? He's coming, guys. Sorry, I'm excited.
All right, guys.
About seeing him.
About what?
About seeing him.
Been at home most of today.
But I'm seeing you. It's still good.
All right, guys. So I'm in here. All right. So The question is, why did we want them to do more vocational things?
Yeah.
Effectively. All right. So my big passion about our children doing more vocational activities was about the fact that it just creates access. So we are, in my opinion, heavily lied to in our country, in the UK, and told that, you know, our academic system is supposed to create social mobility. And social mobility, for those of you who do not know what that means, it just simply means you can change from working class to upper class to any other class, because apparently we're given an education system that allows us to do so. From my experience as a secondary A-level teacher, teaching maths, one of the subjects that people struggle with the most. So again, that's a subject which is supposed to give you even more access. One of the things that I realized is that's not exactly the case. And one of the things I started to see a lot more is that people in different classes generally are in those classes or stay in those classes, keep in those classes due to their relationships, networking, and also their social credences, like the things that they do together, basically, just to make it simple. So this is part of the reason why I have a networking event, for example. It's just to give you guys an insight into how I understand development for people and for our society currently. So for me, the horse riding, the children doing karate, the children looking at gymnastics and all these other things was really about them understanding that they can engage with any activity without being afraid of it. For them to understand that they could basically, you know, rub shoulders with any person they want because they are open to having had experienced any activity, but B, also because of the simple fact that they wouldn't be timid, you know, they wouldn't be afraid, they wouldn't look at a horse and be like, how'd you go horse riding? And I remember the first time I took you horse riding. I took my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, and my niece and what is now my other niece, but my wife's niece at the time. So me, Robbi, and two of our nieces at the time, we went horse riding. And again, that was the same thing. It was about that for our nieces. This was before we was married, before we had children, before we was pregnant. This was before. But it was the same thing. Like I said to Robbi, let's go horse riding, because I have that understanding that creating those kind of experiences for young people makes all the difference. And again, this was something that whilst I was in schools, I was about as well. I was about helping the children to have experiences which allowed them to understand that, you know, they can do anything, they can achieve. They don't have to be subjected to what's in their pocket or what they've been told by other teachers, etc. So hope that helps, guys.
Yes.
And good question. Like, guys, keep the questions coming. Like, because some good questions so far.
You got Daniel?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
See ya.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this. I'll just read it out. Okay, so for example, on week 1, the other thing is I've incorporated my husband's help. So if your husband's, I guess they are working from home. If you're married, I guess your husbands are working from home as well. But obviously, if they're working, they're working. But if they can, getting them to help homeschooling as well is a great idea. My husband currently homeschools the children on Wednesday mornings or afternoons, and he does Bible reading with them and also financial literacy. So, and the children really enjoy that. And again, one great thing about homeschooling is you get to teach things that are not in the curriculum. So you help to teach them things that will set them up for life. So in terms of financial literacy, you're not going to find that class in secondary school or primary school, but you find it at home. Or university, exactly. But you'll find it at home if someone is teaching it to them. And these are key life skills. So let's get down to it. So on Mondays, my children do handwriting and French. And then in their spare time, they can do reading eggs or draw. So again, I'll share about reading eggs if you don't know what reading eggs is. On Tuesdays, I actually hold a group, a homeschooling group called Kingdom Lights. And Kingdom Lights is a group for teaching children about the Bible. So it's learning the Bible through arts and crafts, through nature, through science, and through cooking. So we do several different things. So that's what they do on Tuesday with me. They come along to that group. Currently, I'm not too sure what's going to be happening with the group because of this whole lockdown
Because
stuff.
of the venue.
Yeah, and in terms of the venue, but even in terms of parks, I think they're closing down parks. Otherwise, I'd hold it in the park. But I will update you guys online about what's happening in those groups. But that group is every Tuesday from 1 till 3 p.m. and it's held in Barking Park. After that, they can come home and do independent reading. On Wednesdays, they do Bible reading with Daddy or financial literacy, and then we go to the library. And when they come back from the library, they are meant to be reading to the parents. So they spend about 20 minutes reading to either myself or Samuel. Also, just to put in context, this is week 1. So this is what they do on the first week of the month. After that, I will teach them a bit of keyboard lessons. So we've now got a keyboard. I'd like them to learn the keyboard. So would Samuel. So we've now got a keyboard, and I and YouTube are teaching them keyboard lessons. Then on Thursdays in week 1, they have maths and then English. And then in their free time, they can do drawing. On Fridays, they have word problems. Again, that's a Kumon book. So it looks just like this, but it says word problems. And that is maths, but put into words, and they have to work it out. And then they do a science experiment on a Friday afternoon. Now, I actually have a book called 77 Science Experiments that you can do at home. And the one I have is actually Bible-based. So it's 77 scientific experiments that they can do at home that are based upon a scripture or a story in the Bible. So, for example, the rainbow and Noah's Ark, they have to make a rainbow using CDs and reflecting it onto the wall, etc. But there are also several ideas that you can get from YouTube and Google on rainbows, etc., etc., and so on.
What I think would be really good is, can you share with the viewers, the people that are watching, the activity you guys did on last Tuesday's session at Kingdom Lights?
How could I share them that?
Where's Abigail's? Because she obviously did the activity.
Oh, you mean the actual sheet?
Yeah.
It's in her folder.
Cool. So.
Hi, Dana.
You can explain the activity if you want.
Okay, so for example, in Kingdom Lights session on Tuesday just gone, we did it in Barking Park. And the theme of the Kingdom Light sessions at the moment is the rainbow, God's promise. And what the children had to do, it was science week. So we did a science experiment. And they had to use, what's it called? Kitchen roll and food colouring to create a rainbow using water and cups. So this was the worksheet. Thank you, babe. This was the worksheet, and it looked like this. This is Abigail's great drawing. So there was food colouring in every other cup. And then they had to join it together with paper towel and water, and you'd see that basically the colours would merge in the middle and create the secondary colours. So the primary colours would merge together and make the secondary colours. And I wish I could show you the pictures. Do you know what I'll do? I'll post them on social media to show you exactly what it looked like. It was absolutely amazing seeing the different rainbow colours in water. And the children were like, oh, look, they changed colours. But that's something that was very quick and easy. That can be done at home. This worksheet is from Pinterest. Just printed it off. It's very easy to do. You can do that at home. For someone who said that they were looking at science ideas for their children because they've already made a timetable, Pinterest and YouTube are very helpful in very simple science experiments to do at home. Then on Saturday, my daughter would go to gymnastics, and then we'd do a new scripture from the alphabet. So I've been teaching my children scriptures from the alphabet. So currently I think we're on the letter S. So what would happen is I find a scripture in the Bible, starts with the letter S, and they will learn that for the week. And again, part of homeschooling is going with the flow. If the children are finding it hard to learn within a week, we'll have another week and another week and another week, however long it takes. It's not a rigid set in stone thing. It's all about learning with your child and your child learning with you. So Saturday, week 1, they'd learn a new ABC scripture. And in their spare time, they have free time. So they can go and play as much as they want. And like I said, this is about 2 hours in every day. Apart from that, They are free to just learn as they go. If we're going on a shopping trip, they're coming along and they're learning about how to shop, how to communicate with people, how to be sociable, how to interact with others, how to give the money to the person at the till, how to receive change, all of that. All the elements of living life is part of their homeschooling. And on a Sunday, we have family fellowship and then we rest. And then Daddy is currently doing a 49 weeks in the Word, what's it called? Bible study. So we kind of just get in line with that and go with that. And then in their free time, they can do reading eggs again. Now with week 2, on a Monday, they do handwriting and then they do Bible study with me. Something that they really enjoy, actually. I keep getting asked, when are we doing Bible study? When are we doing Bible study? Because like I said, I'm a primary school teacher, so everything is fun for me, okay? Yeah, everything's done fun. So, where am I? Okay, then Tuesday, again, every day starts off with devotion and Bible reading in our home. We've got the Kingdom Light session. And when they come home, they can do journaling. So a skill I'm trying to teach the children is about journaling. We haven't been doing that as much as I'd like, but it's something that I'm going to be implementing a bit more, especially because it's on the schedule as well. So journaling, one thing I have done to help is I ordered a gratitude journal on Amazon. And it's just something the children can learn to do to show their gratitude a bit more, especially because I started noticing that the older ones were being quite ungrateful. Yeah. So I had to say, look, we need to start being grateful for what we've got, and let's start writing it down. Let's start journaling what we're thankful for. And it's really been a key asset in our home. On Wednesdays, they do financial literacy with Daddy, and then they do reading to parents as well. And then keyboard lessons in the spare time. On Thursday, they do maths and English, again, using Kumon. And the only reason why I use Kumon is just because it's highly recommended, but it's very easy to use as well. So I recommend Kumon for those who haven't got any ideas. On Friday, they do word problems and science. So this is them learning science now. So last Friday would be, the Friday before would be a science experiment. The next Friday would be them learning something about science. And for science, I believe I've got the Carol Vorderman Science Made Easy books. Again, I'll put all of these things in the description box or comment box below. On Saturday, we've got gymnastics again, and then I do cooking with the children. So I tend to do this more than just on the Saturday. I think throughout the week, I'm doing different things. I've recently started to make a lot of things from scratch. So I make bread rolls, cakes, etc., granola from scratch. And I try and get the children involved in that so that they've got more cookery skills. Again, something that's not really taught in schools anymore. And then in the evenings or in their spare time on a Saturday, they've got independent reading where they just go and read as much as they want at their leisure, which they also love to do. On Sunday, again, family fellowship and then rest. So that's currently my timetable, but it is very flexible. If we need to do something on a particular day, the schedule might get thrown out the window and we're going to do whatever we plan to do before. So yeah, it's not a rigid thing. It's very much go with the flow of life. Again, how you manage life and your everyday duties is homeschooling. It's teaching them how to live life. And do you know what? Some people may see this as a curse, but actually it's probably a blessing because your children are getting to see life for how it really is outside of school, how hard you may be working outside of school when they're at school, and just how life really is on a day-to-day basis, even though this isn't really a good example because everyone's on lockdown, which is not really how life goes. But COVID-19, cheers. Yeah. So
before you get into that, Sasha says she's looking forward to homeschooling hers 15, 13, I believe she said 12 and 1.
Wow.
And she also said she'll be doing lots of life skills.
Yes, that's it. Life skills are very key. Again, it's a great opportunity to get those life skills into your children from now, because you know they tend to wait till year 10 when they do work experience. If your child's not in year 10 yet, this is a great opportunity to get them seeing life for how it really is, quote unquote, with all the life skills that they need. So once people are allowed out of their house, when they go shopping with you, they will get to learn different skills, etc., etc. When they go to see your parents or whatever, any kind of travel, if you decide to go on holiday once this whole thing is over, like they'll be learning. Another thing, it's also brought something to my mind. With homeschooling, you get to take holidays when everyone's at school. Now, this is one of the things I looked forward to, because for me, trying to get a holiday during the half term and summer holidays is a joke in terms of price. So, for example, last year we went on holiday in May, and we went for, I think, 8 days. 10 days or something. Yeah. We went to Alicante to celebrate our business partner's 30th birthday, and we did that in May, and there was no, need to book time off school. Are the teachers going to let us know? They're my children. I'm taking my children on holiday. No questions asked. That's what I really enjoy about homeschooling as well. In terms of what has worked, in terms of for homeschooling, what's worked is being flexible. I know I've said it already, but flexibility with going with the needs of your children is really key. So, for example, if you have a child who enjoys football and hates maths, you are free to help nurture that gift of football and not stress them with maths. Now, people be like, oh my gosh, but they need to learn maths. What do they need to learn about maths? Ask yourself that question and then try to teach them that, and do it in creative ways. Like, get out of the mind of a classroom. So they need to sit down, they need to be looking at the board, and they need to face the front. Get out of that mindset, but learn how to teach maths or learn maths in a way that's creative. Now, one thing I'd say for boys are very active and they prefer to be on their feet, moving around. This was the same not only in my home, but also when I was a teacher. In the classroom, the boys wanted to be up and out, running outside. So go and learn maths outside. Go to a playground. Start counting stones. Go and draw with a piece of chalk, hopscotch or something. Learn maths in creative ways other than sitting with a piece of paper and a pen and a whiteboard. It doesn't have to be like that. It's very much go with how your children learn. Some children are more visual than others. Some prefer to sit down and write. My daughter, for example, she likes to sit down with a good book and just read. My son likes to read as well, but he prefers to be moving around than just sitting and reading. She's more interested in the math side of things, and he's more interested in the writing side of things. So as much as I get them to learn both, I don't force one or the other on them, because some children are just naturally gifted in certain areas and others not. And it's not even just children, that's people, full stop. I really enjoy numbers. Samuel really enjoys numbers, as you know. That's not everyone's story, and we know that because we know that maths is one of those subjects that people cringe at a lot. And I'm not one of those people that cringe, so that means that not everyone's like me, and not everyone hates maths. So please be nurturing towards your children's needs. And I know that it may be hard to even know those needs because of the fact that a lot of children spend their time in schools the majority of the day. So you may not see your child most of the day, and now you're seeing them every moment of the day, and it's like, what do I do? Who is this child? I don't really know them, possibly. And if that is the case, take this time to get to know them. Don't put the pressure on yourself. It's not that deep, okay? By the way, Sasha, Dana over in Instagram says, wow, 15, 14, 12 and 1, great ages, Sasha. So well done. But yes, please relax, take it easy.
Remini says she's looking forward to homeschooling too, and she's got the dancing emoji.
Go, Rem. One amazing mum over there, okay? Well done, Rem. Homeschooling is not as daunting as it may seem. It is an exciting thing. Once you just chill out and relax. What hasn't worked? What hasn't worked in homeschooling? What would you say hasn't worked in homeschooling, husband?
I guess it's funny because one of the things probably really profitable to share is our journey before homeschooling, why we decided to homeschool, which is obviously in the video we released recently. But because we had done research prior to homeschooling, we already knew, apparently, that teachers were the worst people to homeschool. So we still ended up, we still saw that we were trying to make it stringent.
Yeah.
And we saw that wasn't working.
100%.
But to answer the question, what have we tried that didn't work? I guess we tried to not be stringent, but because we were teachers, we were still stringent.
100%.
And we saw that didn't work.
Yeah.
So,
just to what's the word? Move. Just off the back of what Samuel has said, that was one thing that didn't work for me. Is although in my mind I was like, it's homeschooling, I can go with the flow, free, woohoo. I was still in this teacher mode of sit down and listen to me. Can you just be quiet, please? And I still get there sometimes. Honestly, I still get there sometimes. I'm like, guys, please, you're not listening. Please stop. But children, especially with the ages I've got, 6 and under, they don't necessarily sit down and just listen because it's boring to them. So that hasn't worked. But also, I tried to get curriculums when I first started, and that didn't work. Not necessarily because of the children, more so because of me. The curriculum I got was very much a copy and print thing. And having to prepare worksheets every single day was not working for me. It was too tiring, too much to think about. And at the time I had Abigail and Elijah, and they were just both babies. It was like having twins that weren't really twins. And having to print and paste and copy, I was like, I can't do that. It's not working. So I remember I had to sit down and think, okay, what do I want my children to know? What must they know without, like, what's a non-negotiable for my children? And for me and for my husband, it was the Bible. We really wanted them to know the Bible. There's a scripture in the Bible that's in Proverbs 22 verse 6 that says, train up your child in the way they should go, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. So for me, it was, okay, I really want them to know the Bible. So that's all I did. We just memorized scriptures for a period of time because I was like, I'm not doing a curriculum. I can't do the curriculum thing. And I really tried. Even the Christian curriculum I tried, and I was like, it's just too much work. It's just too much work. I'll make my own. So, yeah.
Sasha, I think we couldn't see because of the cradle. It says 15, 13, 12, and 11.
I thought so because I think I know this Sasha. And I was going to say, Sasha ain't got a 1-year-old. But yes, so it's 15,
11, not 1.
15,
15, 13, 12, and 11.
15, 13, 12, and 11. Still amazing ages. Wow. Thank you, Sasha. So yeah, that's one thing that didn't work. And do you know what? It may work for some, because people, maybe as adults, you want to know exactly what you're doing and you want to have stuff printed, etc. Do what works for you. When it comes to worksheets, I'd recommend Twinkle. It's a website, Twinkle without the E at the end. That is an amazing website. It's got loads of worksheets, like thousands of ideas and things that you can use for your child. So please log on to Twinkle. They actually have a home educators section. And one thing you should know as well is that during this time, they're actually offering free membership. So if you just type in free membership, Twinkle, you will find some things on there. There is actually a long list of websites that are offering free memberships because of what's happening. Again, I will put the link down below. And if I don't, please remind me, but I will put the link down below. Okay, top tips. Relax. Write this down, please. Relax. That's the first tip. Second tip, take it easy. Take it easy. Okay. Third tip, try to create a routine as early as you can, okay? It's not like major emergency, but as early as you can, try to create a routine. It helps children to go with things a lot smoother. Fourth tip, put out daily snacks, okay? This is something I'm going to be implementing this week because someone suggested it and I was like, oh my gosh, why have I never done that? Get little boxes or trays, put them on your kitchen side, put in some snacks. So whether it's a sandwich, a drink, a crisp, a biscuit or two, He's singing. A biscuit or two, a chocolate bar, stuff that they can snack on, fruit. Put that in the bowl or the tray, and put their names on those trays so that when they're feeling hungry, they're not saying, Mum, what can I eat? Mum, Dad, can I have a snack? Mum. But they can go straight to their trays and take a snack. Or if it's something that has to stay in the fridge, like a yogurt, put their name on it and tell them it's in the fridge. Okay? That's something that is so very helpful.
Yeah, so we got a question from YouTube. The question is, how do you manage the different age groups during homeschooling?
Okay, not sure if you were on from the beginning, but I did mention this at the beginning. In terms of different ages, allocate a specific time of each day to each child. So give the other children, say if you've got 3 children, concentrate on one, let's say the 5-year-old, and let the other 2 focus on a task. So if that's a screen task, maybe on Reading Eggs, or on YouTube, a learning task, or a worksheet, give them something to do while you're working with the one child to find out their needs and cater to their needs. Once you've allocated the task to them, move on to the second child and make sure the other 2 are occupied. And once you've done that, move on to the third child and make sure the other 2 are occupied. So that's a little repeat from earlier, but please rewind and watch from the beginning. There's a few more tips at the beginning regarding that. How to use your space was another question I got. Depending on how much space you have in your home, I would say allocate a specific area for where children can do their work, so that just like you when you're at work, for those who do go out to work, you have your own desk or your own office or your own room where you do your work. And when you're away from that, you're away from work, even mentally. So I think it's very important that children have a space where they work, whether it's a table or an area on the floor or mats. There's quite good mats that they sell in Argos, where it's just like foam mats that fit together like a jigsaw puzzle, and give them a specific area to do their work so that they know this is the area where we do work. And when I come away from here, I'm not doing any work. It's playtime, it's free time, it's
my house again.
Yeah, it's my home. You know, it helps not make everything one big thing. Like, this is my home, my workspace, my play space, etc. Mentally, it helps give children a break as well as adults a break. But yeah, obviously I know a lot of people do not have great amounts of space because we live in London, a lot of us, some of us don't. So if you don't, use your space in categorical areas. So give yourself space for homeschooling, space for relaxing, space for playing, space for eating.
I think another thing that's important is you mentioned earlier the power of having a routine fast as one of your top tips. And I think that people may not realize it, but having a workspace is part of setting a routine. It helps the children psychologically recognize this is where we work.
Exactly.
So I think that's really important as well.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess in terms of using your space, allocate specific areas of your home, if possible, to specific things. So homeschooling, eating, playing, fun time, etc. And yeah, routines again. Make sure you have a routine. I don't know if I answered this at the beginning, but in terms of day structure, you can start whenever you want to in a day. So if you want to start at 1 o'clock and finish at 3 o'clock, that's completely up to you. If you want to have an hour of work and stop for an hour and then start again for an hour and then stop for an hour, start again, that's up to you. I know some schools that are like kind of based on homeschooling. They would do academic subjects in the morning and they'll do vocational subjects in the afternoon. So PE, arts and crafts, playing outside in the sand, all of that would happen in the afternoon. You could do that. You could do it the other way around. You could do PE in the morning, you know. And another thing I've heard is that there are actually people who are offering their services on YouTube, for example, for free. There's a particular guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he's doing PE classes every day of the week, for children, so that children can do PE in their homes. I think his name is Mr. Jones, but don't quote me on that just yet. I can't remember. I'll put it down in the description box. But he's offering PE lessons for children because of this whole epidemic that's going on. So please take advantage of the freeness that's happening right now, the things that are being given away. Like I said, there is a long...
Except for the vaccination.
Yeah, except for the... Oh, gosh. That's a whole nother video. Except for the vaccinations, guys. Don't take the vaccination. Anyway, yeah. So, that's a whole nother video. But, yeah. I don't recommend the vaccinations. But there's a lot of freeness that is good that's being given out. So, please take advantage of it. Education-wise. And there, like I said, there's a very big document that has a list of websites that are giving away free membership for children to learn, home educating websites. It would be too much for me to list right now. So again, I'm going to put it in the description box, in the comments box. There was actually something I wanted to show you guys, but I realized that my phone is currently being used, so I cannot even do that.
What is it?
But it was just a list of things that you can get your children to watch whilst
Can you show on the laptop?
they're whilst you're trying to occupy them. So it might not be learning, but it's leisure things that are safe for them to watch. I try to help my children to watch things based around their faith, because I find that other things kind of dumb them down. So like, what's that show? There's a show on CBeebies. Oh, Dougie or something. Dougie, anyway, something about Dougie. And I feel like it dumbs the children down because he doesn't say much. And so it's shows that children can watch at their leisure that are not dumbing them down, but not necessarily educational, but they are learning things that are good. So Story Keepers, The Torchlighters, Mr. Donut Man. What else is there, husband? Sid the Science Kid. What else? Like I said, I have a long list, but it's all on my phone. Boz the Bear, B-O-Z, Boz the Bear. I can't think of anything else right now. My Instagram live has just ended. So yeah, there's a long list, but like I said, I'll share them later on. I believe that's all the questions I have written down based upon the questions I got asked earlier. Are there any other questions on Facebook?
None on Facebook, just a whole bunch of train up a child, a whole lot of hearts, emojis. People love you, girl.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the love. Love you guys too.
You got to tell them, Robbi, we are all believers and we need God now more than ever.
That's it.
What else? Hi, thank you. There was a lot of I don't know if this is gunshots, but it looks like electric some sparks.
Okay.
Do not make this pandemic your pandemic.
Hey,
like that. Thanks for sharing.
That's the quote of today.
For sharing.
Don't make this pandemic your pandemic, guys. Don't make this emergency your emergency.
Robbi, this is all great info. You're awesome, good info.
Thanks, guys.
I'm excited to homeschool.
Yeah, please be excited.
Great idea. Please
be excited, okay? This is a great opportunity. Guys, when I'm telling you, this is something that can really change the trajectory of the young people that we're seeing out on the streets, or were seeing out on the streets before. A lot of them were crying out for their parents' attentions. A lot of them were crying out for quality time spent with their parents. This is now an opportunity to do that. Please don't miss this opportunity to train up your children in the way they should go. Don't miss this opportunity to get to know your children in a much better way. Don't miss this opportunity to teach your children the things that you want them to learn. This is not an opportunity to be missed. It's a great time, even though it looks dark. It's a great time, okay? So please enjoy it. Please don't be nervous. And if you have any questions or any concerns or any worries, please feel free to message me on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Please feel free. We are Simply ICanWin on YouTube, Simply ICanWin on Instagram, and you can message either myself, Robbi ICanWin, or Samuel ICanWin on Facebook. And please do share this because I do want people to feel excited about homeschooling. I'm such a homeschooling advocate. I enjoy it to the max, and not just because I was a teacher, but because I love my children, and I love seeing my children grow. So please take this as a great opportunity to teach your children the things that they should know.
I think just one other thing.
I had another thing as well. So
no, you go first then.
I was going to say, play games. We have such a nice collection. It's not as big as I want it to be yet, but we have a nice selection of cash flow, Monopoly, Articulate, Scrabble, chess, drafts, Bibleopoly, and cards. Play games with your children. Let it be fun. Let them have family time. Let them learn how to be a family. Let them learn how families can get along. Let them learn how families communicate and should communicate. Take this time to have fun. Teach them about money, using the game Monopoly or cash flow. Use this time to have fun, guys. Please have fun in this time, okay? It's not as daunting as it may seem. It's fun. It's a good time. Husband, what was you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to share that basically. I felt that it would be good to elaborate a little bit more about kind of the conversation we were having the other day, where we were like, all these parents are being forced to homeschool right now, and a lot of them don't know what to do. And the problem is, they're the parents. They're supposed to know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's a real major issue right now. Just the fact that, you know, these people who are parents, who have, in some cases for the women, carried for 9 months these children. In some cases for the men, had to support their wives through this, or their woman through this period, and then maybe even help her by saying, push, breathe, whatever. Hashtag go see our YouTube video on our birth story. But the point is, with all of the love that we have for our children, that we actually put that energy in, we deliver them into this world, etc. Don't let society make you feel like the school system is supposed to own your child.
Yeah.
Like, don't let society make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. Like, you're a parent. And look, one thing I'll say,
I was going to say, come into the camera. It feels weird having your voice there, but we can't see you.
It's weird for me as well, guys. Okay. She's got me in again. One thing I was going to say.
Samuel Bars.
Thank you, Dana. All right, guys. So look, one thing I was going to say, and I think this is so pertinent, and this is the reason I'm sharing it with you guys. When I was doing my master's in teaching, which was the 4th degree I actually studied, one of the pieces of research, a research paper I ended up engaging with, said something so powerful. And I think, if I'm not going to be too tongue-in-cheek, I think this might have been one of the things that made me leave teaching. The document, the research paper basically said, you should never forget that the current school system we see is basically new in terms of the world that we live in. And what it was basically breaking down is 200 years ago, there was no state school system like we have today. 200 years ago, if dad was a carpenter, he would go to the carpentry workshop, he'll take son with him, and son would basically learn how to touch the wood, learn how to speak to customers, clients, learn how to speak to wholesalers, learn how to, deal with the wood, with the chisel, etc. He would learn that kind of through osmosis, just through being around his dad. And, we've now changed this whole thing the other way around. We now use teaching, and now secondarily, we've got, for the last 3 years, the whole world, the whole country saying, oh, we need apprenticeships. But we kind of started on apprenticeships. So really, we're just going back to where we started, if you actually think about it. So this is one of the reasons I really like homeschooling. This is one of the reasons why I think homeschooling just makes so much sense, because that's the way we were doing it anyway, before we started throwing our children into these places where we expect and hope for someone else to take care of our children more or better than we will take care of our children ourselves. So that's just some of the things I would share in that regard, just to encourage you guys that, look, as a parent, you know what you're doing, and if you don't know what you're doing, do what you're doing now. Like, jump on the live streams, jump on the books, like, go and get the resources to learn like how to effectively parent. Like, and guys, I want to say this to you, like, don't think for a second that Robbi and I just woke up one morning and thought we was going to be fantastic parents. Like, we've been studying parenting since before we even had any children. Like, our library is right over there, or most of our library anyway, and you will see in that library, like, book upon book about how to kingdom parenting, grooming your child for success. What's that book called? grooming the next generation for success. Like, we've been reading books on parenting since before we even had children because of how important it was for us. And we've been using that stuff to help grow our children. I'm currently reading a book right now about money called Smart Money, Smart Kids by Dave Ramsey. And the reason I'm reading that book is because I want my children to have skills with money. I don't just want to have skills with money myself and feel like I'm cool. I want to give my children that asset as well from a young age. So like Robbi shared with you, every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, I basically have a lesson where I homeschool the children on financial management and financial literacy. But the reality is I still need good ideas. I might have some ideas myself, but I need good ideas. The Bible basically says in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. So because of that, I'm always looking for new good ideas, sometimes through books, sometimes through connecting with other people, seeing what they're doing, etc., etc., etc. And okay, excellent. So we got a comment here from Dad. Only bad parents will not deliver their loved children from the street or the hands of the evil one. And I totally agree with that. Thank you for sharing that. Like, I totally agree with that. And it's interesting because another thought just came to my mind, which I feel like is really pertinent to share with you guys as well. It's like, one of the things you need to remember with your children is your children are watching you. They're watching you all the time. And now that they've got an opportunity to watch you a bit more, they're actually going to be very interested in what you're going to do. Like, are you going to find another way to get rid of them? Because that's how it's going to be interpreted if you don't engage at this opportunity. If you don't take this opportunity to actually support your children, help your children, take your children to the next level with their education. And it's not to say you have to become a teacher. Like, one of the things that's really, really powerful, I can't remember if you remember the guy's name. Is it Einstein Education or something? But there was a guy... The Einstein Blueprint. So you can Google the Einstein Blueprint. There was a guy whose podcast, or he was on a podcast. We heard him being interviewed on a podcast, and he's a homeschooler. And one of the things he was saying, which was quite powerful, was that because he can homeschool, he can focus on the gifts he has to give to his child. So he doesn't spend all his time thinking, so he's really good at maths, for example. And he was basically breaking down in the podcast. He don't spend all his time trying to work out how to teach his children English or science, etc. What he does is, because he knows he's really good at maths and he's really accomplished at maths, he spends his time specializing and teaching his children a lot about maths. Now, the thing that's powerful about that, again, it doesn't mean force your children to learn maths if they're not that way inclined. Robbi's already kind of given some insight on that. But what it does mean is, if you are really gifted at something as a parent, you can invest some time in teaching them that, because you're a specialist. So they're not going to learn it from a half-heart or from a generalist. They're going to learn it from a specialist. And that's one of the most powerful things about children, because children, they absorb things so well. And if you are a specialist and you can teach your child something, your child will take that really, really far. Whereas what happens in a lot of schools is most of the teachers are just generalists. They're not specialists in anything. And because of that, they can't give your child specialized knowledge. And that's why a lot of children come out of school average rather than excelling. And another thing that Robbi and I always talk about is, whenever you watch those shows, 99% of the time when you watch those shows of gifted and talented, the most brilliant genius children, child genius, or whatever those shows are called, 9 times out of 10 you'll find out that most of the children who are excelling on those shows are actually homeschooled. So there's a big correlation between child excellence or child growth and progression and excellence and actually homeschooling, or at least, let me use this language, and their parents being fundamentally involved in their development. And again, guys, like, don't be afraid to outsource as well, but just don't outsource everything. So what I mean by don't be afraid to outsource is, if you've got a sister or a cousin who's really good at sewing or something you're not that good at, but you want the children to grasp, then call that person in. Let another specialist get involved and support the development of your children as well. Like, it don't just has to be your own endeavors. They used to say it takes a village to raise a child. So call in the village, call in parts of the village. So, and again, that's for those people that are single parents. Go get a guy that you trust in the community to come and play a part in your young guys' lives. Same way the other way for the single parents who are males. Same thing. Go get a female in the community who is respected, who can come and add value to your daughters or your daughter as well. So hopefully that's helpful. I'm gonna take Mr. Man.
Thank you.
Okay, powerful. So I'll read this. You can carry on. So we've got lots of comments here on Instagram. Okay, they love baby Daniel. I think that's official. And it basically says, love that, Samuel. I had never thought about it like that. Thank you, Dana, for sharing. Cool. All right.
There was something else, I think. Yeah.
Thank you, Robbi, for all your knowledge and the time to sow into us.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.
She's amazing, guys. She's amazing.
Thanks, husband. Yes, so I did have one more thing, but I can't remember what it is right now. What was it?
Part 2.
But yeah, maybe part 2. But
subscribe to our YouTube
channel. Just to add what Samuel said. For example, with the keyboard lessons, I actually did outsource it to a friend of mine who teaches keyboard lessons, but she's not as available as I'd like at the moment. So I've had to take it into my own hands and use YouTube. I actually used to learn it as a child as well, so I've got some kind of knowledge, but I've forgotten a lot. So I'm using YouTube as my friend as well, which you guys can do for free. But yes, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Simply ICanWin. We've got other... It's Simply ICanWin. We've got other videos regarding homeschooling there, but also in terms of our day-to-day life. A video will be coming out soon, showing a day in the life of homeschoolers. And it's kind of widespread. We do get up to so much. People do ask, what about their socialization? You're now going to get first-hand experience of socializing your children as homeschoolers, because it's easier than you think. It's actually about cutting out stuff when it comes to socialization, because there's so many opportunities. The homeschooling community is very large in London, East London, South London, North London, West London. Is massive. So there is lots of opportunities. There are lots of opportunities, and lots of homeschooling groups. Just Google, YouTube, Facebook. There are homeschooling communities at large right now.
Co-ops.
So yeah, co-ops.
They're generally called co-ops, homeschooling co-ops.
Homeschooling co-ops, yeah. So there's lots of opportunities.
Here.
Yes.
Sandra Anno over on Facebook has asked a question. Thank you so much for sharing. Are there any websites that you can recommend, please?
Yes.
Again.
I said this earlier. There are websites, because my phone is currently in use. I don't have them to hand, but there is one document. When you click that link, it downloads a big spreadsheet of a whole bunch of websites that are for free at the moment. But off the top of my head, Twinkl, TWINKL, no E.com or .co.uk. You can subscribe to them and get free worksheets and resources right now. It's not usually free. It's free because of the whole COVID-19 thing. But you can subscribe for free for at least a month, I believe. Also, Reading Eggs, for those who are aged up to 13, I believe. Reading Eggs, you can subscribe and pay monthly, or you can do... right now, they've got a 4-week free trial that you can do. If you just Google it, that should come up. Reading Eggs, as in egg, like Easter egg. They've got things available to help your children read, or just give them fun activities to do for reading and around reading. They also have something called Maths Seeds inside of the Reading Eggs website, which your children can learn maths. They also have worksheets, which I found out yesterday. They have worksheets available that you can print off on the Reading Eggs website as well. And that starts from age 2 all the way to 13. So my 2-year-old uses Reading Eggs and he enjoys it, and he's learning how to read using Reading Eggs. So very good website. There's also, I can't think of one right now, but like I said, I will put the link down below of the wide spreadsheet that is available. Any more questions on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram?
We had In Thy Word ask, how do you manage the different age groups during homeschooling? And that was the last one on YouTube.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video and join the live. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the shares and the likes and the hearts, etc. Please share this. Please, once this is over, go and share it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, so that parents that are in panic mode right now can relax and be calm and get the things and information that they need. Please share, please share, please share. I look forward to doing this again, actually. yeah, we'll see what we'll do next. But yes, I look forward to doing this again. Please share this and please have a lovely, restful evening. Remember this. Do not let this pandemic be your pandemic. It's not your pandemic. Let the government chill or pray for them to chill and just relax, be calm, and call a friend if you need any help. Yeah. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for everyone that commented. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Rem. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, In Thy Word. Thank you all for being part of it. And I pray you have a lovely, blessed evening and weekend, even if it is just in your homes. All right.